600 university campuses and communities, raising global consciousness about the situation in the Congo and advocating for peace, justice, and human dignity in partnership with the Congolese people. Friends of the Congo was established in 2004 to work in partnership with Congolese to bring about peaceful and lasting change in the Democratic Republic of Congo. In a world riddled with systemic crisis, violence, and suffering of intensifying proportions, yet also increasing resistance and building of ways that prioritize life everywhere, we are so lucky for the opportunity to see the world, past, present, and future, through the eyes and experiences of those whose life stories rarely make the front page. We at Adelphi, and in particular the Love, Home, and Belonging 360 class, are profoundly grateful for the opportunity to be with you today. Let us all hold firm to the knowledge that hope and hard work will bring a world where every life counts. There are numerous hosts for this event: interdisciplinary studies class on Love, Home, and Belonging, so co-sponsors sociology, African, Black, and Caribbean studies, Love and More Global Scholars Program, and gender and sexuality studies. Before I pass the mic to some folks for greetings and a representative of Friends, and formally introduce our speaker, I want to share the format of our time together. After these introductions, the speaker will present for roughly 25 minutes, and then we will open the floor for comments and questions. Students in Love, Home, and Belonging have some of the questions they've already posed, and I hope that you come forward here to ask them. We end at 1:30. For those at Adelphi, there's paper in the back for you to take notes if you're inclined, and you have the yellow Post-it for additional questions and a green one for comments. Always include your name so that I can call upon you during the question and answer. And a few of you said that you would help gather the questions. And so I will ask you to do that when the time comes. Just also a reminder that phones and laptops are away during our session, as we want to be fully present in this moment. I bring greetings to all those who are listening in, and to students right here, from Dr. Susan Brizzarelli, the Associate Provost for Faculty Support and Global Affairs out of the Provost's office, and the Director of Love and More Global Scholars, the College of Arts and Sciences. I have also want to acknowledge that the Black Law Students Association at University of Connecticut is present with a watch party, and I want to say we're thrilled that you're here. And the last greeting, Gary Daut, if you don't mind to come up. We have an Adelphi student who is actively involved with an effort around the Congo, and she needs to make her pitch now and let you know how, if you are interested in being involved with what she's doing, she and others, Panthers for Progress. Gary.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk today, Professor Bush. I'm just going to talk really briefly about a project that Panthers for Progress is involved in on campus. Just for context, I run an organization on campus called Panthers for Progress. We're very involved with doing mutual aid on campus and also political advocacy on campus. So the project is still in the planning stages, but I will just give you like a brief overview of what we're planning to do with Friends of the Congo. So there are refugee camps in the Congo for women that are kind of like, well, there's refugee camps in the Congo for women. I'll leave it at that. And at these refugee camps, what one of the goals is to teach these women how to, I guess, like train them in photography so that they can use it to document the crisis that's currently going on in the Congo. And what our goal is currently is to kind of like raise money for these women, but also to like bring these photographs that these women are taking in the Congo to campus and display them. So if you're interested in learning more about this or how you can get involved with raising money for these women, or you want to actually like visit this exhibition when it happens, hopefully, I do have a QR code for all of you that want to stay updated. So I'll leave it here and you guys can pass it around and scan for our Instagram. And that way, yeah, you'll stay updated. But that's pretty much it for me. You can pass out the QR code. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gary. It's really an honor to have you here, and it's a way that students who have already done reading and thinking and questioning about what's happening in the Congo can actually, many asked, what can I do? So I would just like to say, I'm about to introduce our speaker with great honor, but I want to give huge props for Maurice Carney, who is the ED, Executive Director of Friends of the Congo. We have been engaged in Congo Week for several years at Adelphi, and it is one of the most meaningful engagements. And that's saying a lot, because we do a lot of cool stuff. So I'm going to introduce this to our speaker and then unmute. So that's going to take a minute for me to get to the computer and do that. Botembe Moseka Maete is a Congolese artist born in Kinshasa, where she lives and works. With a degree in visual communication, +5, from the Academy of Fine Arts in Kinshasa, she is active in the new contemporary art scene in Kinshasa, where she collaborates on photographic projects, virtual exhibitions, performances, and other experimental media. She's worked with artists who have influenced her fine art photography and participated in the master classes for Tricontinental Cinema in 2022. She was part of the Mahandule 2024 residency at Yole Africa Residency, where she nurtured her passion for art, forging a personal approach that drew on her family's deep commitment to painting, her academic training, and informal encounters with various groups in Kinshasa and Goma. In March 2021, she produced her first series of photographs, for which she won second prize in a photography competition organized by Oxfam. The following year, she was selected for the Bamako Biennial, where her series was exhibited at the Modibo Keita Memorial in December 2022. She co-founded the Cine Club Minzoto project, an initiative for exchanges between artists and the public on video, art, and cinema. And so, speaking to us about the role of women in Congolese society, and in this context, thinking about the relationship to love, home, and belonging, it is a deep honor to welcome you, Botembe Moseka Maete.
Thank you, Professor Bush.
Okay. I'm going to log off and come back in.
Okay. So, hi to everyone. Hello. It's an honor for me to be here with you. I don't know if you can see me well because I can't really see you well. Can you hear me?
Can you hear?
I don't think I can.
Well, why don't maybe those who come up a little bit closer? I'm not sure. Okay, we're just making a little bit louder. Let me see.
That's loud as it can go.
Okay.
Last one.
No, it.
Got that. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Can I start the presentation? So, like Professor Bush said, I'm an artist based in Kinshasa, DRC, where I'm born and live. Uh, that's where I started my practice in arts and where I study also. So with Yola Ecologia, I'm first going to start Yola Ecologia. Yola Ecologia, which is a part of Yola Africa, at Bulengo district surrounded by the internally displaced camp, arable land, into science researchers, with a community of youth, artists, activists, mothers and children of the internally displaced camps, indigenous community of the Hutu people. What we do over there is a social, ecological innovation. We do youth empowerment and community building. Uh, while I was there, my work at Yole Africa Yole Ecologia began with a residency in Mayinduli, where I made my film Gasobi with the mothers of Yole Ecologia who agreed to play, and this turned into an academic course, my internship. During my internship, I had to step up with a curriculum, which was asked to me by Zepek Nandaliko, a curriculum that met the needs of the mothers. And to be honest, I had no idea at the time what they needed. But as I was thinking about it, that's when the idea of doing a show and tell came into mind. I said to myself, that's the best way for me to get to know them, to know the mothers of Yola Ecologia, to know the mothers of the internally displaced camp, and to create a space where they could express themselves. And little by little, it took shape in my head. The first step during the internship, during this course, was for them to introduce themselves in their class, to present an object of value that they had at home, and create a story around any object of value. So one came with her jacket. She came with a jacket and she called it Mama Mushoshi or Kaka Mushoshi, which means sister in Swahili. And she said it means big sister because her sister likes to help her and her family stay in a hut when it's cold because in the camp it's very cold at night, and her jacket helps them to helps cover her and her family. Another Mama Baraka, she came to present herself at the show and tell with her matress. She came with her matrix and uh she even started singing at first. But then she was as she was explaining the story, she said she called it Kaka Saidi. Kaka Saidi because her sister, a very jealous sister, who likes to take care of her children and her husband. Her mattress helps the whole family sleep together at night. But the mattress can feel very angry when she's dirty, and she likes for this woman to take her at the Kivu Lake to wash her and to clean her clothes. And she said it makes her feel very angry when she watches her
I think she got disconnected.
Yeah, she probably got disconnected.
Thank you for your patience, everybody.
We're doing something big, and I hope that you feel the excitement of that. Um, so I'm still connected, so, oh, excuse me. Um, I'm calling to get someone. So I'm asked. Greetings. We're in Campbell 1, and the speaker is, the volume is really low. Can someone please come immediately? This is a YouTube live stream thing. Campbell 1, immediate. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So this is, does anyone know where our speaker is calling in from? She's calling in from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I don't know how many of you have traveled outside the US or in regions that are often very under-resourced, but this is something that is a common experience. Yay. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Back is welcomed.
Can't hear her speaking.
As we wait, and I realize it was difficult to hear and someone's on the way, but what have you heard so far? I'm not asking for a reflection on it, but just what content have you heard so far? I'm gonna stand here so it can pick up my mic. All right. What's one point? Yes, Matt.
She was in an internship.
Okay, she was in an internship related to art.
They can't.
They can't hear me.
They can't.
Okay, I'm going.
Is that going?
I'm going to.
Wait, I think that one's unmuted. I think they're saying they can't hear her.
Can you hear me? You can hear me.
I don't hear them.
Yes, we don't hear them. Oops.
I think they disconnected. No, they're still back.
So, so you can hear me. Okay, I heard one thing is that she had an internship. What else did you hear? Even from her bio. Who are we speaking with? Someone who is,
Doing an internship?
well, she did one, but reminding you that she's an artist. Born in Kinshasa. Where's Kinshasa?
Africa.
What part of Africa?
I'm not sure.
Well, what things did you learn about the Congo when you did your reading? Think about what you posted. What was striking about the Congo? What did you learn about its resources? Everybody commented. Saka.
I said that they were like colonized.
They were colonized. Okay. Hi. We have two challenges. Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Sure.
One challenge is that the speaker here is barely audible in here. I'm on mute. I'm on logged in separately because I'm as facilitator. So thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Who's the speaker?
Otembe Maseko Maete. She is in the Democratic Republic of Congo calling in.
Right.
And she's logging off and on because the call got dropped.
So you're using StreamYard.
StreamYard to YouTube because it's.
I understand.
Okay, great. So,
I'm testing it, right?
can you wait till she's back?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's a time where you have two slips, a question and a comment. Even just think about the stuff that you read yesterday. Okay. What strikes you in terms of what you're learning about the Congo or about, I don't think you really were able to hear very much of what she shared.
So you see here,
So this is two logins,
two separate logins?
two separate logins.
Right,
So
you're
this goes
guest
there.
and host, whatever. So so I use StreamYard, right, to do
Oh, okay,
podcasts,
cool.
right, so I'm familiar with it. So if I invite a friend to be on it, I send them the link. They're able to log on as a guest,
Mhm.
and they come up on my same screen, like it's a split
Right.
screen, right? But you have two different events logged in,
No, I just have me as host,
right?
Event host,
Sure.
not StreamYard host. There's a manager. And then I have this log in here.
See,
So that's
so
right. This. So they,
Is your guest speaker?
Okay, there she is.
Hi, can you say stuff? Can you hear me?
Otembe? You can type in the chat.
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me? I'm Angelo. Can you hear me? You can't hear me. Okay. Is your computer? I can't do that either, right? See, I think she had to be the original Professor Bush.
So, StreamYard.
Oh, I heard that. All right, can you speak? Because when she moved her mic or whatever, I heard it. Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So now can we make it full screen and as loud as possible?
This is the loudest.
Okay, and full screen.
They did that.
I made it full screen.
Okay, so you're good. This is the best we're gonna be.
Can you try speaking so we can hear?
Can you hear me?
Yay. Okay.
Give her a round of applause. Angelo. Has anyone been on international calls before? We'll talk about this. So, Botembe, you can proceed.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So yeah, we were talking about Kaka Saidi, which is Mama Baraka's matrix, the matrix which helps her, her family, her husband, her and her family. Can you hear? Is that good?
I'm sorry, can you speak a little bit louder?
Maybe put on
Okay.
subtitles.
Okay.
On subtitles. One.
So Kaka Saidi is the matrix of Mama Baraka, which helps her and her family to sleep over the night. And this matrix doesn't like to stay dirty. She likes it when Mama Baraka brings her at the Kivu Lake to wash her and dry under the sun. And later she explained the background story where actually uh, this matrix, she has traveled with it 3 times to flee the war before arriving to Goma, before arriving to this eternally displaced camp. And that's when the course began. This matrix is precious to this mother because she traveled with it 3 times. And soon after that, we thought, why not, after hearing all these stories, creating a song, writing a song about the stories. And at that moment, everything started to become beautiful and it was aligned. All the mamas started singing songs about these objects. Others came with spoons that they called their brothers. Others came with a chair that they called their sisters. Others came with they came with a knife. They came with a cover. They came with all sorts of objects that they called their brothers, their sisters, their mothers, because they were precious objects that they traveled with from a place to another just to flee the war. And these objects would help their families. And these mamas at the end presented their show and tell at the 20th anniversary of the Genocost, where they showed their work to other mothers, they showed the work to other peoples in the internally displaced camp. On the way, the displaced persons of the camp, the whole camp looked at them and couldn't understand why these women were so beautifully dressed and so happy, because on that day, these women were dressed as if it was Christmas. They don't wear beautiful clothes every day, but they dressed as if it was Christmas and said to me, Maite, from now on, you are like our mother. What you do helps us to forget our worries. Thank you. And that moment, I felt even more humble and smaller, even though I didn't know at the start what the end would be and how it would affect them so much. Those were those who were shy of speaking in public have become braver, whether in class or in the neighbors' camps. This ability even applies when they're selling at the markets. And that's when I knew that I was interested in teaching, but also what it's like to be committed not to a cause, but to a person. There you go. Was that clear?
We are we're doing our best. It's still very low audio. So we have someone coming again. If there's any way to project closer to the mic, that might help.
Okay. Mm. I don't know. Is this way fine? Okay.
A little better. Getting there. I understand the audience in YouTube can hear well. So let's just proceed. Thank you, Botembe.
Okay.
We can always review like the recording later.
Right. So yes, you can proceed. Thank you.
Well, wait, we can't hear her now. Now I stopped hearing her voice. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
So that we know when she's speaking.
Gotcha.
What we're going to do next is to have you state your questions while they're working on this. This is an Adelphi and an international issue. Okay, so we're going to try to make the best folks on YouTube can hear. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but then what if it would take step by step? I mean, you could speak from there, and then the thing on the YouTube can do it.
Well, it may not.
I'm gonna search. Is there like a link that
Actually,
can go on YouTube?
Yeah.
Can you provide a link for YouTube?
And now?
Okay.
Okay. Oof. I think that's better.
Is that better? Yeah, you can hear?
Not too
Yes.
loud now.
Yes, better. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So what do we do now? Should I restart the story or?
That probably makes sense.
Okay.
Or summarize from so we can pick up.
Yeah. So my work with Yola Africa began with a residency in Maindule, where I made a film, Basobi, with the mothers of Yola Ecologia who had agreed to play, and this then turned into an academic internship. During my internship, the mothers, I had to set up a curriculum that met the needs of the mothers, and to be honest, I had no idea at the time what they needed. But as I was thinking about it, that's when the idea of doing a show and tell came up. I said to myself, that the best way for me to get to know the mothers, to get to know the mamas, was to create a space where they could express themselves, and little by little, it took shape in my mind. The first step in this internship, in the course, was for them to introduce themselves and present an object of value that they had at home, and create a story around an object that they had of value. So one came with her jacket and called it Kaka Muchocha, which is a big sister in Swahili. She likes to keep the mother and her children away from the cold at night in the camp. Another one came with her mattress, a precious one that she called Kaka Saidi, which in Swahili means the big sister who likes to help. This mattress likes to keep the mama, her children, and her husband at night for them to sleep. But she gets mad when she's dirty because the mattress bath, loves to bath in the Kivu Lake and loves to dry under the sun. So this precious mattress for this mama was precious because she traveled with it 3 times before arriving to the internal displaced camp in Goma. And that's why she was so attached to it, because it was already part of the family. In a family of the woman, her husband, and the 3 children, the mattress became the 6th person. And so little by little, each woman came with an object. Others came with a spoon that they called their brother. Others came with a chair that they called their mothers. Others came with a knife that they called their enemies. And they even created songs. They even started dancing about it. It was just beautiful. At the end, they made triptychs, photographies of triptychs with their objects, and presented their show and tell to other women in the camp to mark the 20th anniversary of the Genocost. On the way to the displaced persons camp, the whole camp looked at them and couldn't understand why these women were so beautifully dressed and so happy, because on that day, these women were dressed as if it was Christmas. They don't dress well every day, but that day they dressed as if it was Christmas. And some of them came back to me and said, Mighty, from now on, you're like our mom. What you do help us to forget our worries. Thank you. And at that moment, I felt even more humble and smaller, even though I didn't know at the start what the end would be and how it would affect them so much. Those who were shy, among them there were mothers, there were women who were shy in the class, and they turned out to be speaking in public. They became much more braver, whether it's in class or in the neighbors' camps. This ability even applies when they're selling at the markets. And that's when I knew that I was interested in teaching, but also what it's like to be committed, not to a cause, but to a person. There it is. That was the little story of how my relationship with this camp started, with the mothers of Yola Ecologia, and how these women themselves, they transformed me, they changed me. That's a bit. Okay. Was that good? Oh.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Try again. Yes, thank you very much. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
So what I would like to do next is that the students have some questions that they would like to ask of you. And we're a little bit bottlenecked with time and technology, but we will proceed. So
Okay.
I would like to ask the students, any of the students who have the slip, if you can come up and ask your question so Botembe can see you directly. Okay? So, Gio, come so she can see you directly.
Hi, so I have two questions actually. One is, what role do women play in Congo's political landscape today? And the other question is, how have Congolese women historically resisted colonial and post-colonial oppression?
Can you repeat, please?
Maybe what we'll do is have someone else. Let's see if we can get three, since we have, in terms of time, 3 people to come up and ask you some questions, and then you can and then you can respond to any which of those that are of interest. Someone
Okay.
else?
You're welcome.
Someone else? Madison.
How was it being told that you are like our mom from the women in your class?
I didn't hear that.
One more. Where's Gianna? Prabjot. Prabjot, would you mind to come and share your question?
How can we bring awareness about these intolerable conditions to other nations and provide assistance to the millions of helpless Congolese?
Okay.
Wonderful. So I now need to switch the mutes. And then thank you. Oh, how has Congolese women resisted colonialism? How was it being told you're a mom from the women in your class? How can we bring awareness about the intolerable situation of women in Congo? And how do we provide assistance? Okay, I'll be switch in 1 second. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Women, for women, women are the guardians of history here in Congo. That's how I always describe them, even in my own artwork, in my own art practice. Because my first series, photographic series, was about women, and this calling, I get it from my mother. I call them guardians of the history of the Congo because they are the ones here in our country who tell the stories to the kids. I grew up with the stories of the Congo, learning it from my mother. When I was at the camp, I saw the other mamas. I heard them giving the stories to their kids. Most of the times, they are the ones who knows how what happened. Not that the men don't, but they are the ones who are being the storytellers, telling these stories to the kids and sharing this heritage with the kids. How do they contribute? They are the biggest contributors of the countries in the economy. in the urban space, in the rural space, everywhere you'll find mostly there are women who work there. They are the ones who sell. They sell food. They sell in the markets. A large number of people selling in the markets are women, and they are the ones who are the biggest contributors of our country. There was another question: how to have awareness. The great way of doing this as students, for me, would be sharing, and why not organizing exhibitions of their works, because these women, they work, they are very artistic, they are very
She disconnected again.
She'll come back. The comments from the other people who are on the call have said they can tell you're listening and paying attention. And so I'm going to ask, I'm going to read a couple of the questions, other questions that students have asked, and hopefully she will be able to come back on. Another student asked, why don't we focus more on Congo? And for anyone on YouTube, I believe you're able to also put your own thoughts in the chat. Also, how can we address the ongoing conflict and humanitarian crisis in the region? How do we address issues like political instability, human rights abuses, and the exploitation of natural resources? Hopefully she will do that.
Hey,
Hi, Maurice.
how you doing?
Okay, are you
Good,
able to
good.
help us with
Yeah,
this?
with I saw some of the questions from the students, and I know Maite is having challenges with the technology, and I think this an example of just simple community, how difficult things are in the Congo, and really in the global South. It's not as how can I say, as simple as people may think here. When the Congo itself, less than 20% of the people have access to technology, internet, in terms of the internet. Less than about 15% have electricity, right? Or only 15% have access to electricity. So there are technical challenges, a range of challenges. I know the students have asked some key questions that I think we can help to respond to as Maite gets her technology straight. And I think she's back right now. I don't know, Maite, if we can, Sister Wotembe, we can hear you. Are you able to speak and see if we can hear you? I don't think she has the technology down yet. But some of the questions that the students asked, I think we can help to respond to. And an important point that Maite was making about the women and the work that's being done by the women in the displacement camps. I want to give the students a sense of what that's like. I was in the displacement camps with the women this summer, back in July, with our sister Botembe as well. We were there together, working with the women in the particularly in the Bulengo displacement camp in the east of the Congo. In the Congo right now has one of the largest internally displaced population in the world. Up to 7 million people have been displaced as a result of the ongoing conflict. It's a conflict that's been ongoing for over 25 years. And the camp that Maite is talking about is they have 800,000 displaced people in that one camp, mainly women and children, living really in bestial conditions, right? This is the context. They're living in an area that's volcanic. Living on volcanic rock because there's an active volcano literally right above the women, right? And wherever you go in the city of Goma and in the Bulengo area, it's volcanic rock. So here it is that these women have been displaced from their villages by the war, a war that's imposed on them by neighboring countries, and then they're in a displacement camp. So it's like they've lost everything. That's why when Maite talks about the mattress, the woman with the mattress and how she cherished the mattress, because that's something that she's carried with her, that she has left. So Maite and, Madame Botembe and the Yole Africa folks, they work with these women to really help to build community, build trust, restore dignity. And the photo display that Gori talked about, that she's going to display at Adelphi. These are the works of women who have been displaced from their villages. They've now in the camps. They're working with Yole, being trained by people like Botembe, right? How to take photography, and they've produced this beautiful, up to 25 or so photo displays that the students now at Adelphi are going to showcase to the rest of the campus. So the essence of the story is that these women are taking charge. They're reclaiming their agency, even in the harshest of conditions, right? They're reclaiming that agency, even in the harshest of conditions. And it's through a collaborative effort with Yole Africa, with our sister Botembe, putting all of this together in a trusted community so that the women can begin to heal, even though they're not able to go back to their villages yet because the conflict is still ongoing. So that the women are able to imagine new possibilities in the midst of one of the most devastating conflicts and crises in the world. So that context is really important for the students to understand the role that Sister Botembe is playing, the environment in which these women are operating. So when Gori comes in and says, we're at Adelphi, and we're going to be in solidarity with these women, we're going to showcase their work, we're going to raise funds for them. That's a classic example of how students can be engaged and what can be done. That was one of the questions that was asked. And we didn't tell the students to do this at Adelphi. They found out what was happening, and they took ownership. They came up with their own ideas as to how they can be of support. First and foremost, by elevating these stories, right? Because we often get pictures and videos of the women taken by others. Somebody taking a picture of them, videoing them. But here it is that these women are taking their own pictures and they're telling their own stories. So when that happens, when they exercise this level of agency, when they demonstrate this kind of empowerment, then you, as an ally, one of the best things you can do is to elevate their stories, provide a platform, right? Because now you're not only telling about the conflict, right, and the displacement of the women, but you're telling about the agency that the women are exercising, so that you could see that the women are not just sitting there helpless, desperate, and waiting for somebody to come and help them. They've already taken action, and you being in solidarity with them, being an ally, are basically supporting basically be in partnership with them, basically helping to fuel what they are already doing. So that's a really important work that you, the students at Adelphi, are doing. And I encourage you all to join Guri. She's going to be up at Congo in Harlem on Friday to meet with the delegation that we have touring the states that coming from the conflict areas in the Congo. And she's going to see how, sitting down with those with the Congolese delegation, how it is she can basically optimize or enhance her plans and her ideas that she already has, along with her organization. So just kudos to her for taking this initiative. Kudos to you, the students, for listening in spite of the technical difficulties, which really are reflective of the enormous challenges that we find in the Congo. We're talking about a state. It was asked earlier how women resist colonialism. We're talking about a state, for all intents and purposes, that is a colonial state. The infrastructure is colonial. And we know that. Actually, the infrastructure in Congo today, believe it or not, is worse than colonial period, right? Because the roads that were built during the colonial period, there are a lot of them, many of them now are covered up by the rainforest, right? So just in terms of getting around the Congo, moving from one point of the country to the next. Congo is the size of Mississippi Mississippi East, right? From the Mississippi to New York, basically. And it has less infrastructure than New York City in terms of road. If you want to move around the Congo, you have to get on a plane to move, right? As I shared with you, only 2 out of 10 people have access to the internet. Maybe 15 out of 100 people have access to electricity. And if they do get access to electricity, it goes out every day. You can count on the electricity going out. And this is in a country that has an estimated $24 trillion worth of natural wealth. So it's a country that's a colonial legacy, being systematically looted, and everything that one tries to do is difficult. So what these women are doing in the displacement camps, right, in the midst of the conflict, because bombs are still being dropped on them, even though they're in displacement camps, right? Bombs are still being dropped on them. They go and get wood to try and build a fire, they get raped, right? So for them to really imagine something as incredible as they have through the photography is certainly worthy of elevating, showcasing, and supporting.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes, can hear you fine.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, so our time is coming to a close. However, we have the means of being connected, and we can work out the details about how some of the students' questions might be responded to, whether it's you as from Friends of the Congo or directly from Maete. So as we close out, it's interesting, our next week's speaker is about what we owe strangers. And so it's a beautiful tie-in and thinking about self and society, really. So what I would like to do is to read out loud so that everybody in the coming week in the class is thinking about these questions. And then also in terms of you, Maurice or Maete, if there's responses that we can keep the conversation going. I'll read them and give my greetings on the way out. And then if you have a final word, always I will turn it to you. For sure, if anyone is listening or in the room and you're interested just to follow what's going on, you can follow the email list or Instagram and Twitter. These are very good ways. I mean, we're in an educational space, so that is really top priority. But I am very, very proud of this class for the kinds of questions that they've been asking and paying attention and being open to learning. So here are a couple. Why don't we hear about Congo? How can the theft of resources be justified? Why doesn't Congo supply food for the continent if it can? And why is this not raised as an international crisis? How do the women stay engaged under these conditions? And finally, how, and these are all students' questions from the room. These are the people.
Beautiful.
And finally, I would have loved you to see the individual faces. However, in terms of time, a very, very critical question. How are we so comfortable sitting back and watching suffering?
And that's the challenge, Professor Bush, and that's what we're appealing to the students and why we do Congo Week, why they're engaged, so that we don't normalize this situation, right? It doesn't have to be this way. And we encourage the students, we have this Friday to go to the Congo Week website. This Friday is a day of action. If they go to congoweek.org and click on the events calendar, they can see we're going to flood the lines. We're going to flood the lines of the White House, call on the White House for specific policies related to the Congo, because U.S. administration plays a role in what's unfolding there. By virtue of the students hosting Congo Week and sharing our word on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we're at Congo Friends. That's a way for them to break the silence. That's a way for them to make sure that people hear and know about the Congo. Work with us to spread the word about the Congo. It's not being covered a lot in the media. It is an issue of international concern, but it's your generation, these Gen Zs and these millennials, who can help us through social media to break through in raising people's consciousness about what's transpiring in the heart of the African continent. So there's a role for you as students to play in bringing awareness about what's happening to the women that Sister Maite was talking about.
Closing out,
I just want to thank you. Want you all to stay engaged. Want you to support the students on your campus who are organizing around the Congo. Gordy's right there with you. We encourage you to support her organization as they attempt to assist the women in the Congo. And for continued support and engagement, we encourage you to go to freecongo.org, freecongo.org. Visit us on our social media handles, on our social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X or YouTube, at Congo Friends, at Congo Friends. We need your engagement. We need your sustained engagement. So we hope you'll join us in this movement in the heart of the African continent for peace, a movement for justice, a movement for human dignity, as you've seen described by Mate in her presentation.
and all of those are directly connected to love, home, and belonging. So I look forward to hearing the comments and further questions, reflections on the part of the class. I think I'm very proud of all of you for your input, and I am deeply grateful to Maite and to Friends of Congo, Maurice, and everyone who's involved. And hopefully students will be in contact with Gori. Thank you so much. Okay.